All the words from the pages change your world. Your world. They can change your heart. They can change your mind. They can change your life. Can change your world.
Oh, good evening, good evening, good evening. Thanks so much for joining us here again on the New Black Wall Street Book Club, Reading Rainbow 2.0 with a purpose. And we're continuing along our journey into the book, The Alchemist. An Alchemist is the book that's recommended by the likes of Oprah Winfrey and Will Smith. So we'll be continuing on along with that here this evening. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, also international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. It's a study of Black wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. Also founder of the club itself. And so not only is it a book that you can pick up by going to theblackbillionairesclub.com, but it's a club that you can choose to join as well. And what do we do there, guys? Well, we study billionaires and we mimic the habits and the success habits of those billionaires. And we have for you personal development, business development, financial literacy classes, also investment education, investment club. And then we'll also have some things for the youth as well. So you can choose to join the club right now for $9.99 a month. For $10 a month, you can do that. A $10 decision to change your life forever. And then we'll be moving. Actually, and membership will be increasing as we have added some new benefits as well. So you have an opportunity to make that decision, a $10 decision that could literally change your life. It's very interesting, guys. Some of the smaller decisions that we need to make, they end up having the biggest impact. Some of the small decisions that we need to make end up having the biggest impact. Anyway, today's episode, we are broadcasting right here from ERGJ Studios, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, Decatur, Georgia. Today's episode is sponsored by ERGJ Black Bazaar. Right, that's the Afrocentric marketplace. You can pick up your journals there, guys. We do have the Wake Up, Dress Up, Show Up journal. That's right. Afrocentric journals, the Wake Up, Dress Up, Show Up journals. You can pick up right at www.ergjblackbazaar.com, www.ergjblackbazaar.com. So pick up your journal right now, man. Hit the like button, the share button, and the watch party button. Let people know that we're here. We're broadcasting across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our podcast will be coming out with this episode as well. So thanks so much for joining us here tonight. You can find us on MBWS Book Club, where Black folk do read. You put in the book, we absolutely will find it. So let's get right to what we're going to be reading tonight here on our evening read, The Alchemist by Mr. Paulo Coelho. Now, I'll try to do my best to give you a quick recap of where we are in this adventure, in this story. We have Santiago, who's a shepherd boy who had a dream, and he started to go chasing after his dream. He got it interpreted. He met a gypsy. He met the King of Peace, which is the representation of God. And then he went on to on his way to Egypt. He met a crystal merchant. He got robbed. Then he met a crystal merchant, and then he met then he went on to meet the alchemist in training, who's also going to find his personal legend. Everybody put it also personal legend, on his way to find his personal legend. And then now they're in the desert, and they're caravanning over the desert to Egypt, where the pyramids, where he can find his treasure. And then they come to an oasis. The oasis is where they are now. It's a place of refuge. And what we talked about on last episode was, well, hey, where is your place of refuge? In other words, this is where there was no war. This is where there is no war, your place of refuge. Now, for some of us, that place of refuge is our house, our home, our sanctuary. For some, you got war at your house, so maybe that's not going to be a place for you. So again, I want you to just consider, just to think right now, where is your place of refuge? For some, it could be in a lake, at still water. For some, it might be the library. What is your place of refuge? For some, for me, it's my car. When I get in the car and I take a little drive all by myself, that is my place of refuge, baby. I love just being in the car, moving, thinking, planning, dreaming, all that good stuff. What's your place of refuge? So this is what the oasis represents, a place of refuge, a place of no war. Okay, place of safety. And so while he's there, now they are looking, he's trying to help the alchemist find an alchemist as he's going towards his personal legend. And then he has to learn the ways of tradition, right? What's happening in Oasis, how they operate, how they maneuver. So as you know, you go to different cities and different countries and different places, and everyone does things differently. So you have to learn tradition, then you can respect tradition. Everybody put constant respect. So so a couple people came by, and then a woman came by, told them don't talk to women in black, and then a couple men came by, and then another woman came by, and this brother fell in love. So now let's pick up where we are right here in the Alchemist. Of course, alchemy is the process of turning lead into gold. That's basically saying that the symbology there is that you can turn your life into something of value, right? Not that lead isn't valuable, but gold is more valuable. It's just simply saying that you can turn your life, you can have a life that's more valuable. How many guys want more value out of your life? How many guys believe that there's more value still available to you? How many guys know that there's more potential that you can reach? So you can turn your life can become more valuable. Matter of fact, you can become more valuable in a lot of different places. How do you do that? Well, you got to become better. That's it. You got to become better. So finally, a young woman approached who was not dressed in black. She had a vessel on her shoulder and her head was covered by a veil, but her face was uncovered. The boy approached her to ask about the alchemist. At that moment, it seemed to him that time stood still and the soul of the world surged within him. How many guys have had that feeling? When he looked into her dark eyes and saw that her lips were poised between a laugh and silence, he learned the most important part of language that all the world spoke, the language that everyone on earth was capable of understanding in their heart. It was love. Something older than humanity, more ancient than the desert, something that exerted the same force whenever two pairs of eyes met and had theirs here at the well. She smiled, and that was certainly an omen, the omen he had been awaiting, without even knowing he was for all his life. The omen he had sought to find with his sheep and in his books and in the crystals and in the silence of the desert. It was the pure language of the world. It was the pure language of the world. It required no explanation. Just the universe needs none, just as the universe needs none as it travels through endless time. What the boy felt at the moment was that he was in the presence of the only woman in his life, and that with no need for words, she recognized the same thing. He was more certain of it than anything in the world. He had been told by his parents and grandparents that he must fall in love and really know a person before becoming committed. But maybe people who felt that way had never learned the universal language. Everybody put in console universal. Because when you know that language, it's easy to understand that someone in the world awaits you, whether it's in the middle of the desert or in some great city. Now, I love this verbiage here because although it's talking about love, I want you to understand that there's a lot of love going on in the world, although it may not seem like it. But as you are going towards your treasure, as you are journeying into your personal legend, you have to understand that there are people who are waiting on you. Now, it may not be in this instance where we're talking about, this love thing that you're talking about, but yes, it is love. Right? There's a lot of different types of love. There are people who are waiting. There are customers who are waiting on you. Yeah. There are clients who are waiting on you. Yeah. There are partners who are waiting on you. That's right. There are family members who are waiting on you. Right? This whole world is waiting on you. But the problem is, many of us have felt like we've been waiting on the world. I recommend you go after your treasure. I recommend it. You'll see that when you get into the space where you are flowing in love, you're flowing in what they would call the spirit. You'll notice, and this is what entrepreneurs have begun to understand. They may not be able to communicate it, but they understand it. Like, wow, I didn't know where the money was coming from today. I just flowed in the spirit. I just did what I knew to do. I just operated in love, and then the client came. Then the call came in. Then the email came through. Then the text came by. Then the chat popped up. I was just operating as I was going after or looking to find my treasure. And here's a wonderful thing about entrepreneurship. And I believe that all of us are entrepreneurs in some way. Every day we get to go find our treasure. Every day we get an opportunity to be treasure hunters. Everybody put a console treasure hunt. See, I be looking for people. I look for people who are treasure hunters. Like-minded people to me are treasure hunters. You get up every day going to find your treasure. Now, for some of us, we call going to get my meat. You got to eat every day, so I got to go find something to kill so I can bring home the bacon. Treasure hunters. But we tend to find that as we are going after our treasure, that's when we actually find what we need, find what we're looking for. And treasure can show up in some of the most odd places. In this particular case, the treasure, he's going to look for his treasure, but he found another treasure. He found love. That's priceless, isn't it? I mean, that's worth way more than whatever gold or whatever treasure he's gonna find when he get to Egypt. He done found love. Wow. As he's searching for his treasure. So he found something way more valuable than treasure, I would say. So, but when you know the language, it's easy to understand that someone in the world awaits you. Someone in the world awaits you. Whether it's in the middle of the desert or in some great city, you don't know where you're going to find this at. You don't know. It shows up in the strangest places. And when two such people encounter each other and their eyes meet, the past and the future become unimportant. There's only that moment. And the incredible certainty that everything under the sun has been written by only one hand. It is the hand that evokes love and creates a twin soul for every person in the world. Without such love, one's dreams would have no meaning. Maktub, thought the boy. Maktub means it is written. The Englishman shook the boy. Come on, ask her. The boy stepped closer to the girl, and when she smiled, he did the same. What's your name? He asked. Fatima, the girl said, averting her eyes. That's what some women in the country are called. It's the name of the prophet's daughter, Fatima said. The invaders carried the name everywhere. The beautiful girl spoke of the invaders with pride. The Englishman prodded him, and the boy asked her about the man who cured people's illnesses. That's the man who knows all the secrets of the world, she said. He communicates with the genies of the desert. The genies were the spirits of good and evil. And the girl pointed to the south, indicating that it was there that the strange man lived. Then she filled her vessel with water and left. The Englishman vanished too, going to find the alchemist. And the boy sat there by the well for a long time, remembering that one day in Tarifa, the Levita had brought to him the perfume of that woman, and realized that he had loved her before he even knew she existed. He loved her before he even knew she existed. He knew that his love for her would enable him to discover every treasure in the world. Man, what a place to be when you got this kind of love in your life. That you understand that you got this. And what's interesting as I think about today's society is that he just met this lady for just a quick, short amount of time. They just exchanged a hello and a couple of words. She left, and he over here thinking about, man, that's all I needed. That's all I needed to discover every treasure in the world. I needed that feeling. I needed that unction. I needed that I don't know what it's called. From it's like a prick of his heart or something. Right? The next day, the boy returned to the well, hoping to see the girl. Now he is anticipating, excited. To his surprise, the Englishman was there looking out at the desert. I waited all afternoon and the evening, he said. He appeared with the first stars of evening. I told him what I was seeking. He asked me if I had ever transformed lead into gold. I told him that was what I had come here to learn. He told me I should try to do so. Then he said, go and try. The boy didn't say anything. The poor Englishman had traveled all this way only to be told that he should repeat what he had already done so many times. So then try, he said to the Englishman. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start now. As the Englishman left, Fatima arrived. Uh-oh, the girl came back and filled her vessel with water. I came to tell you just one thing, the boy said. I want you to be my wife. I love you. Ooh, he got a little romance going on in me here. Up in here. The girl dropped the container and the water spilled. I'm going to wait here for you every day. I've crossed the desert in search of a treasure that is somewhere near the pyramids. And as for me, the war seemed a curse, but now it's a blessing because it brought me to you. The war is going to end someday, the girl said. The boy looked around around him at the date palms, he reminded himself that he had been a shepherd, that he could be a shepherd again. Fatima was more important than his treasure. How many guys got somebody in your life that's more important than your treasure? Oh, got somebody in your life that's more important than your treasure. It's somebody in your life that, as you are going at it, you're going after it, they can call and you'll stop what you're doing because they're more important than your treasure. Now, some of us, we got multiple people who are more important than our treasure. As a matter of fact, I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to just think about your phone contacts right now. And out of the 100, well, how many contacts you got, there's probably only a few people who, when they call, you always pick up. You always pick up. There's some people you ignore, and some people you let go to their voicemail. Some people put on silent, depending on what you got going on. But there's only a couple of people who, no matter when, no matter what, if they call, you picking up. Those are probably the people in your life that are more important than your treasure. And I would venture to say that I think it's important that we give them more of our time than we give all those other people who are wasting our time. Again, the question is, how many people are in your life that are more important than your treasure? Now, what is your treasure? That's what you're going after. That's what you're seeking. That's what you're looking to acquire. That's what you're looking to do, right? And you could be in the middle of all of that. At a drop of a needle, you'll pick up the phone and you'll go handle or deal with whatever it is that this person may need or want from you. The tribesmen are always in search of treasure, the girl said, and she had guessed at what he was thinking. And the women of the desert are proud of their tribesmen. She refilled her vessel and left. Oh, Lord. He done told the girl he wanted to be his wife, and she done left him again. Boy went to the well every day to meet with Fatima. He told her about his life as a shepherd, about the king, and about the crystal shop. They became friends and except for the 15 minutes he spent with her, each day seemed that it would never pass. When he had been at the oasis for almost a month, the leader of the caravan called a meeting of all the people traveling with him. We don't know when the war will end, so we can't continue our journey, he said. The battles may last for a long time, perhaps even years. There are powerful forces on both sides, and the war is important to both armies. It's not a battle of good against evil. It's a war between forces that are fighting for the balance of power. And when that type of battle begins, it lasts longer than others because Allah is on both sides. The people went back to where they were living, and the boy went to meet with Fatima that afternoon. He told her about the morning's meeting. The day after we met, Fatima said, you told me that you love me. Then you taught me something of the universal language and the soul of the world. Because of that, I have become a part of you. The boy listened to the sound of her voice and thought it to be more beautiful than the sound of the wind in the date palm. I've been waiting for you here at this oasis for a long time. I've forgotten about my past, about my traditions, and the way in which men of the desert expect women to behave. Ever since I was a child, I've dreamed that the desert will bring me a wonderful present. Now my present has arrived, and it's you. The boy wanted to take her hand, but Fatima's hands were held to the handles of her jug. You have told me about your dreams, about the old king and your treasure. You've told me about the omens. So now I fear nothing because it was those omens that brought you to me. And I'm a part of your dream, a part of your personal legend, as you call it. That's why I want you to continue towards your goal. Uh-oh, my goodness. Whoo, I need me a Fatima in my life. What? I want you to continue towards your goal. If you have to wait until the war is over, then wait. But if you have to go before then, go on in pursuit of your dream. Uh-oh. Woo! I'm telling you. Let me stop right there. If a woman ever say that, what's going on? Oh my goodness. Oh, that must be the internet. I don't know what's going on, people. Man, oh man. That's why I want you to continue towards your goal. If you have to wait till the war is over, then wait. But if you have to go, then go in pursuit of your dream. The dunes are changed by the wind, but the desert never changed. That's where it will be with our love for each other. I don't know if I can hear me or not. Good old Google done did something. Okay. Okay, I'm still here. All right, we're back. We're back in action. All right, we're good. A little break up there. Just a little bit of break up. Let's see, we good. We good? I think we good. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's get back to what he was saying. So I want y'all, this really touches me, by the way, because as a brother, I don't think I've ever heard a woman say something like that to me. Okay. Let me go back because it just sounds. I just really want the ladies to hear this. You told me about your dreams, so that says that, of course, there's been some communication. That you've gotten to know the brother for a little bit. He listen. When a brother starts sharing his dreams with you, I didn't even know we were gonna talk about this tonight. When a brother starts sharing his dreams with you, okay. When a brother, and vice versa, I'm not gonna act like it's just a man to the woman, but I can just speak from a man because I'm a man. But when somebody starts sharing their dreams with you, huh? You told me about your dreams. Is it who do you trust with your dreams? I was thinking about this today. Matter of fact, I was thinking about it, you know what is, you know what's really a shame, or what's really, I can't think of the word, what's really sad is when you get like a great idea and you really want to do something and you're like, dang, yes, let's go. You're in your mind, you're like, yes, it finally came. And then you pick up your phone because you want to call and share the good news. And then when you look at your phone, you're like, who the hell can I call to share this great news with? Has anybody ever been in that position? Like, man, this is good news. But then you look at the phone, you want to share the good news, but then you look, you like, I can't share it with him. I can't share it with her. I can't share, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there's some people in your phone that if you call them, they just want to talk to you. And you're like, well, I called you to share something with you. There's some people who, you know, they're going to give you some bad news or tell you something negative or something stupid. You're like, I just want to share some good news. I mean, I'm telling you, it's so great when you got people in your life that you can share some good news with. This is why you need to join the Black Billionaires Club, by the way. Have you ever been in that position? You're like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might get it and it's too late. You can't call them, it's too late. Or something. You know, you're like, dang. And you got to sit there and hold it and talk to God. You're like, God, I just want to share it with somebody. I want to have a conversation with somebody. I'm feeling good. Am I the only one that's been in that situation where I'm like, man, I wish I had somebody I could call that really understood this, that I could really just share this with openly and freely. I'm telling you, when you get to a position where you got people in your life, when you got a club called the Black Billionaires Club that wants you to share your dreams with them, oh my goodness, the skies open up for you. So anyway, I guess I'm the only one. You told me about your dreams, about the old king and your treasure, and you've told me about omens, so now I fear nothing because it was those omens that brought you to me, and I'm a part of your dream, a part of your personal legend, as you call it. That's why I want you to continue towards your goal. Oh my goodness. Woo! If you have to wait until the war is over, then wait. But if you have to go before then, go on in pursuit of your dream. The dunes are changed by the wind, but the desert never changes. That's the way it will be with our love for each other. Man. Maktoum, she said. I mean, it is written. If I'm really a part of your dream, then you'll come back one day. Wow. Wow. The boy was sad. It was sad after he left that day. He thought of all married shepherds he had known. They had a difficult time convincing their wives that they had to go off into distant lands. Oh, Lord, gee, all the married men that he's known, that I know, who have a difficult time convincing their wives that they had to go off into distant fields. Man, who knew we was going to be talking about relationships tonight? Love required them to stay with the people they loved. Look at that. Love required them to stay with the people they love, and so they had to stay, although they wanted to go. Not leave, but just go on their adventure to find their treasure. Is it possible that the love that you might have for someone else is causing them to stay when they want to go and adventure? Wow. Wow. Let me ask that again. Is it possible that the love that you have for someone is causing them to stay, although in their heart of hearts they really want to go and adventure? Now, this word go, I'm not saying leave, I'm saying go. And that goes for both parties. As a woman, there are times when you want to go and adventure, but the love that you have in this relationship is making you stay, although you kind of really want to go. Whether that be go to on vacation, or go get a job, or go to another level, or whatever the case may be. Is it possible that the love that you share is causing you, is forcing you to stay, although you may really want to go? You may want to take advantage of this opportunity that came across your path, but you are forced or required to. But look at that word, require. Required to stay. That's an interesting use of that word in the vocabulary, I think. Requiring to stay. Whew. He told Fatima that at their next meeting. The desert takes our men from us, and they don't always return, she said. We know that, and we're used to it. Those who don't return become a part of the clouds, a part of the animals that hide in the ravines, and of the water that comes from the earth. They become a part of everything. They become the soul of the world. So do come back. And some do come back. And then the other women are happy because they believe that their men may one day return as well. I used to look at those women and envy them their happiness. Now I too will be one of those women who waits. So she's saying, I love you, but I want you to go after your dream. And I'm just trusting and believing as I wait that you'll return, you'll come back once you finish your adventure. That's a good question to ask. How many of you are willing to wait? I remember there was a time I was dating someone, and there was so much pressure to move fast and commit. And I was like, "That listen, I'm trying to adventure. I'm trying to build this business. I can't have, there was too much pressure. Like, dang, can we just keep building?" Are you saying to yourself, man, it's my biological clock, and I ain't got that kind of time? And then are you pressuring people to move into a position? You're requiring them to stay when they're really trying to go on this adventure. They're trying to build something. They've been called way before they met you towards something greater, and you're just along their path towards their treasure, and you become a part of their personal legend, but you are now requiring them to stay. Fatima's willing to wait for as long as it takes. She said, I too will become one of the women who waits. I mean, there's so much lesson in this. Woo, Lord. I'm a desert woman, and I'm proud of that. I want my husband to wander as free as the wind that shapes the dune. And if I too, I will accept the fact that he has become a part of the clouds and the animals in the water of the desert. Woo-wee. Now, when I read this, I put all these highlights around. I said, this right here, I'm going to come back to it one day, and I'm back to it now. The boy went to look for the Englishman. He wanted to tell him about Fatima. He was surprised when he saw that the Englishman had built himself a furnace outside his tent. It was a strange furnace, fueled by firewood with a transparent flask heating on the top. As the Englishman stared out of the desert, his eyes seemed brighter than they had when he was reading his books. This is the first phase of the job, he said. I have to separate out the sulfur. To do that successfully, I must have no fear of failure. Now look at this. He's in the beginning phases of his task. And he said, in order for me to do this successfully, I must have no fear. Everybody put it on no fear. In order for me to do this first part successfully, to separate the sulfur, I must have no fear of failure. Now, how many of you guys know, for those that have experienced life a long time, how many of you guys know sometimes the hardest part is the beginning? The hardest part is getting started. The hardest part is getting over the fear of failure. No fear. Said to do that successfully, to accomplish your goal, to reach your dream, to build your dream, to get started, you must have no fear of failure. In other words, you must expect it to go well. You must expect it to be done. You must expect it to happen, to be successful. Now, this is hard. I mean, it's not hard. It's difficult. It's challenging. Because it may be something new. I mean, obviously, he's saying, hey, I've done this a lot of times and it never worked for me. So it'd be easy for him to stay in the fear of failure. Like, you done failed about 50 million times already. But he understands that in order for me to have success, I must have no fear of failure. Oh, my goodness. In order for you and I to have success, we must have no fear of failure. Every time we come up, we got to cast it down. No, this is going to work this time. Everybody put it down, it's going to work this time. And it's going to work this time. Okay, I know it. I know what happened last time. I learned from that. I know what happened the time before that. I learned from that too. It's going to work this time. Not only is it going to work this time, it's got to work this time. I've learned from my mistakes. So I don't have to think about those mistakes no more. That's in the past. Right now, I'm working on this, and it's going to work this time. No fear of failure. Right? If it was my fear of failure that first kept me from attempting to master work, it was my fear of failure that kept me from getting started in the first place. I'm getting started this time. I came too far to fail. This is just going to have to work. It's going to work this time. I mean, we could probably stop there because a lot of people need to say that to themselves about their dreams. A lot of people need to say that right now about the things that they got in their heart. A lot of people need to say that right now about what they have as far as the vision is concerned for their life, for the things that they want to accomplish. It's going to work this time. I mean, you got to put all the slang in it too. You can't say it all proper like it gonna work this time. You got to put all the slang in it. It gonna work this time. You know what I'm saying? Speak master ebonics. It gonna work this time. He realized it was my fear of failure that first kept me from attempting. My fear of failure kept me from even trying before. I'm too close. I'm too close. We don't come too far. We all the way out in the desert. I mean, we ain't going nowhere. We might well get this thing working. Now I'm beginning what I could have started. Oh, listen. Now I'm beginning what I could have started 10 years ago. How many guys are in that position? Now you're beginning what you could have started 10 years ago. Wow. The fear of failure has kept him from starting something he could have started 10 years ago. Any different from him? Is there any different from him than from us? Something you could have started 10 years ago. Could have started your debt elimination process 10 years ago. You could start working towards your goal 10 years ago. You could have done something with this dream that God has given you 10 years ago. You could have started 10 years ago. Please don't make it another 10 years. Something you could have got started. Not that you would have finished it. We're just talking about starting it. Now I'm getting what I could have started 10 years ago, but I'm happy at least that I didn't wait 20 years. He's happy that he's gotten started. He's happy he's starting now. That's all that matters. Now is all that matters. He continued to feed the fire, and the boy stayed until the desert turned pink in the setting sun. He felt the urge to go out in the desert to see if its silence held the answers to his questions. He wandered for a while, keeping the date palms of the oasis within sight. He listened to the wind and felt the stones beneath his feet. Here and there he found a shell and realized that the desert in remote times had been a sea. He sat on a stone and allowed himself to become hypnotized by the horizon. He tried to deal with the concept of love as distinct from possession and couldn't separate them. But Fatima was a woman of the desert, and if anything could help him understand, it was the desert. As he sat there thinking, he sensed movement above him. Looking up, he saw a pair of hawks flying high in the sky. He watched the hawks as they drifted on the wind. Although their flight appeared to have no pattern, it made a certain kind of sense to the boy. It was just that he couldn't grasp what it meant. He followed the movement of the birds, trying to read something into it. Maybe these desert birds could explain to him the meaning of love without ownership. Oh, Lord. I don't know if we can go any further than this tonight, people. He said he's trying to understand the meaning of love without ownership. And oh, Lord, Jesus. How many guys have been in some situations where someone or you or the other person thought thought you had now become their whatever prize? They now owned you. Now that y'all decided y'all gonna date or be in a relationship, they took it. They were totally what is it? They were, control freaks. How many guys have been, you either are the control freak or you've been in a situation where you've been with a control freak. You're like, hold up, brother, hold up, sister. I mean, I like you and all that, but that just because I said we date don't mean that, don't mean I gotta do everything you tell me to do when you want me to do. Matter of fact, you ain't asked me to do it, you trying to tell me to do it. This is what he said. He said he's trying to understand love without ownership. He's trying to separate the concept of love from possession. Wow. That's deep. I mean, that's pretty dang on deep. He felt sleepy. In his heart, he wanted to remain awake, but also wanted to sleep. I'm learning the language of the world, and everything in the world is beginning to make sense to me. Even the flight of the hawks, he said to himself. And in that mood, he was grateful to be in love. When you are in love, things make even more sense, he thought. Suddenly, one of the hawks made a flashing dive through the sky, attacking the other. As it did, a sudden fleeting image came to the boy. An army with his swords are at the ready, riding into Oasis. The vision vanished immediately, but it had shaken him. He had heard people speak of mirages, and he had already seen some himself. They were desires that, because of their intensity, materialized over the sands of the desert. But he certainly didn't desire that any army invade the Oasis. He wanted to forget about the vision and return to his meditation. He tried again to concentrate on the pink shades of the desert and its stones, but there was something there in his heart that wouldn't allow him to do so. Always heed the omens. In other words, listen to the clues. Always heed the omens. The old king got said. The boy recalled what he had seen in the vision and sensed that it was actually going to occur. He rose and made his way back towards the palm trees. Once again, he perceived the many languages and the things about him. This time, the desert was safe, and it was the oasis that had become dangerous. So the place of refuge now has become the place of war, and the place of war now has become the place of refuge. There was a switch that just happened. Now, this is a vision that he has. And I know that I'm talking to some people that y'all get these visions and y'all be like, this is so real. And sometimes you be like, I don't know if I can believe that. Matter of fact, your grandma and them, they I saw fish in my dream, you pregnant. They be like, oh shit, damn, I am pregnant. Right? Got vision, like that was just too real to be fake. And it's hard to believe it, but then you like, I probably need to do something with this. So the camel driver was seated at the base of the palm tree, observing the sunset. He saw the boy appear from the other side of the dunes. An army is coming. The boy said, I had a vision. The desert fills men's hearts with vision, the camel driver said. But the boy told him about the hawks and that he had been watching their flight and then suddenly felt himself to have plunged to the soul of the world. The camel driver understood what the boy was saying. He knew that any given thing on the face of the earth could reveal the history of all things. Any given thing on the face of the earth can reveal the history. Everybody put in console history. Can reveal the history of all things. One could open a book to any page or look at a person's hands, or one could turn a card or watch the flight of the birds. Whatever the thing observed, one could find a connection. Everybody put in console connection, a connection with his experience of the moment. Actually, it wasn't that those things in themselves revealed anything at all. It was just that people looking at what was occurring around them could find a means of penetration to the soul of the world. The desert was full of men who earned their living based on the ease with which they could penetrate the soul of the world. They were known as seers, and they were held in fear by women and the elderly. Tribesmen were also wary of consulting them because it would be impossible to be effective in battle if one knew that he was fated to die. The tribesmen preferred the taste of battle and the thrill of not knowing what the outcome would be. The future was already written by Allah, and what he had written was always good for man. So the tribesmen lived only for the present, because the present was full of surprises, and they had to be aware of many things. Where was the enemy's sword? Where was his horse? What kind of blows should one deliver next in order to remain alive? The camel driver was not a fighter, and he had consulted with the seers. Many of them had been right about what they said, while some had been wrong. Then one day, the oldest seer he had ever sought out, and one of the most to be feared, had asked why the camel driver was so interested in the future. So the fighters, they don't want to know the future. I mean, they just like, man, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I'm going to go down swinging. The camel driver wanted to know the future. Interesting. These two dynamics of different people that's on this caravan. Well, so I can do things, he had responded. And so I can change those things that I don't want to happen. But then they wouldn't be a part of your future, the seer said. Well, maybe I just want to know the future so I can prepare myself for what's coming. So I can prepare myself for what's coming. If good things are coming, they will be a pleasant surprise, said the seer. If bad things are, and you know in advance, you will suffer greatly before they even occur. I want to know about the future because I'm a man. And men always live their lives based on the future. Now, here's the thing. To live in the present is how, I mean, you get there, it's a beautiful place. It's full of surprises. But here's the thing about the future. The future is something that you and I strive for while we're in the present. It's something that can pull us forward because it's something that we're expecting, something that we're looking for. Now, we don't necessarily know all the things that's going to happen, but we do know what we set out for ourselves in the future. And that's something to be excited about when you wake up in the morning. Here's where I want to be, and my future is pulling me towards it. The seer was a specialist in the casting of twigs. He threw them on the ground and made interpretations based on how they fell. That day, he didn't make a cast. He wrapped the twigs in a piece of cloth and put them back in the bag. I make my living forecasting the future for people, he said. I know the science of the twigs, and I know how to use them to penetrate to the place where all is written. There I can read the past, discover what has already been forgotten, and understand the omens that are here in the present. When people consult me, it's not that I'm reading the future, I'm guessing at the future. The future belongs to God, and it is only he who reveals it under extraordinary circumstances. How do I guess at the future? Based on the omens of the present. The secret is here in the present. Everybody put it down, so the secret is here in the present. The secret is in the moment. The secret is here in the present. If you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. And if you improve upon on the present, what comes later will also be better. Forget about the future and live each day according to the teachings, confident that God loves his children. Each day in itself brings with it an eternity. So if you improve upon the present, what comes later will also be better. If you take care of the now, if you do better now, then you will have better later. Why? Because you reap what you sow. And the only time that you can sow is now. And you will reap later. If you want to improve the present, if you want to improve your bank account, if you want to improve your relationships, if you want to improve your mental stability, if you want to improve the present, what comes later will also be better. What does that tell us to do? Start now. If you want to have a better later, you want your retirement account to be vast, you got to start now. The present is all you got. You want your physical body to be in better health, better strength, you got to start now. That way your later will be better. You want to live a long life with vitality. As far as eating healthy, you got to start now. See, really the only thing that's holding you back from your dreams is you. Fear of failure, we talked about that. Not starting at all, right? Procrastinating because of the fear. Now you procrastinate, not starting at all. And then it's 10 years later, and you're still talking about the dream that you had 10 years, 15 years ago. Start now. If you improve upon the present, which is all you got, I want you to understand, you really got to get this. This is all you got. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. This is all we got. All you got is right now. That's it. You may think you got tomorrow, but you don't control that. All you really got is right now. Why not start right now? I'm telling you, once I agreed with this, once I accepted this for my life, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna start stuff, and I'm gonna start it now. You know, I might put some stuff down. I might even write something down. Okay, I got to do that. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You know what I say when I say I'll do it tomorrow? No, let me go ahead and knock it out right now. Unless it's got something to do with somebody else and I got to meet them. If it's something that I can do in my own strength, you know what I do? I look at them like, man, I'll do it tomorrow. Let me go to sleep. No, let me just knock it out real quick before I go to bed. Let me knock it out. Start now. When I get these ideas and everything like that, you know what I'm doing? I'm starting now. I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to add to the club. This is the benefit we're going to add. What we're going to start right now. Because I don't know I don't know if we got tomorrow. Tomorrow might not come. It may be the difference between the life and death of my family. It may be the difference between leaving a legacy and living bills. If I start now, I could drop something into an account right now and I might pass away and they keep that thing in that account. Then 30 years later, they millionaires, even though I started. Matter of fact, Warren Buffett says this. He says, there's somebody sitting under the shade today because someone planted the tree 100 years ago. Will you plant the tree of your health? Will you plant the tree of your wealth? Will you make the necessary adjustments or corrections for your errors in judgment today? Don't sleep on it. Start now. This is the New Black Wall Street Book Club where Black folk do read. You put it in a book, we absolutely will find it. Now, what am I sharing with you guys? I'm simply sharing with you some things that helped me when I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. When I was on that job and I was getting to the point where I just had to go, I had to get myself out of the rat race. I had to figure out what I needed to do. What did I need to do? I needed to do something different. So what did I do? What did I do? I said, you know what? I don't need a whole hour to eat because it's a whole bunch of time doing nothing. So I took 30 minutes of my lunch, my hour lunch break, and I would eat. And I took the other 30 minutes and I would feed my soul with books like this. So what I'm sharing with you are books that I read during that time when I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Books that I read to help me change the way that I think so I could change my life. Books that helped me to take control of my mind so I could take control of my life. And guess what happened? I went from being an employee to an employer. Guess what else happened? I went from having not even $500 in my bank account to now 10x that. You mean to tell me a little small investment of $10 or $15 can do that? No, it's not about the money that I spent. It's not about the money that was spent. It's about the return that I got. Let me say that again for the people in the back, because many of you guys don't understand investing. This is why you still haven't joined the Black Billionaires Club, because you're thinking about the little $10 a month. It's not about the money that you spend. It's about the return that you get. See, if you're always thinking about the money that you spend, that means that you're never willing to sow the seed. And because you don't sow, you don't reap. But here's the other thing about it. You think so much about a possible potential for something to bring you back a return, you totally look over all the money that you're wasting anyway. All the stuff that you bought, that you spent that $10, $15, $20, $50, $100 to gratify your desires, that brings you no return. It brings you a temporary return, makes you feel good for the moment. And I'm not trying to make you feel good for the moment. I want to make you feel good for a lifetime. That you're wealthy, you're healthy, and you're happy. Instead of broke, busted, and disgusted. I want you to literally exchange temporary satisfaction for a lifetime of fulfillment. Let me say that again for the people in the back. I want you to exchange temporary satisfaction for a lifetime of fulfillment. I invite you on that journey. I challenge you to take the journey. Join the Black Billionaires Club today. In the comments below, I'd like for you to share something that you took away from tonight. We don't just do this just to do this. I'm sharing with you things that help me to change. And I want you to understand that if you want your life to change, you must change. If you want your life to get better, you must get better. Stop trying to get everybody else to do something that you're unwilling to do, which is change. Get better. Do better. And we do this to make sure that we're bringing value into your life. In the comments below, share with us, was this worth your time and why? We've been here for almost an hour. It's an hour that you can't get back. We understand that your time is more valuable than money. You're sowing an hour of your time to be here with us. We want to make sure you got back a return. We've implanted or deposited a seed of thought, a seed of love, a seed of encouragement, a seed into your life that you can then cultivate and bring back a harvest. Now, I know I talk fast and you type. So again, guys, once you check out ERGJ Black Bazaar, pick up your journal. Why the journal? Because as I told you, I study billionaires. What do billionaires do? Number one, they read. Number two, they write down their goals. Everybody that might be watching isn't interested in being rich. Okay, well, let's not talk about billionaires. You know what? People who are debt-free, people who got out of debt, who paid off all their student loans, know they did? They read books and they write down their goals. Okay, well, maybe we're not talking to people who want to get out of debt. Okay, well, I can just go on and on. Successful people read, and successful people write down their goals. That's why I feature books, and that's why I feature journals. May not be popular, but it works. Right? It may not be popular, but it works. Now, here's the understanding that I got. I understand that the club that we've created is not for the many. The many simply won't do what the few will. That is why the few own and control more than 50% of the wealth and the resources in the world. Because the many simply won't do what the few are willing to do. They simply won't. They'll spend all their money at Super Bowl weekend while the few are collecting all the money on Super Bowl weekend. The many simply won't do what the few are willing to do. They won't go where the few are willing to go. The many will go to the concert. The few will go to the library. It's just a great phenomenon. Matter of fact, the good book tells us that the poor will always be among us. And I just said, well, I ain't gonna be among them. That ain't gonna be me. They might always be among us, but I ain't gonna be among them. The few are willing to do what the many are not. That's the difference. That is the only difference between the rich and the poor. Now, you can conjugate all the stuff that you want to conjugate, but at the end of the day, if we were to start over and everybody own and control the same amount, guess what would happen in 50 years, in 100 years? The same thing. The people it would just fluctuate right back up because the cream of the crop always rises to the top. The 80-20 rule is legit. The same thing will happen. The money will start going right back into the people who know what to do with it. Why? Because a fool and his money will part ways. A fool and his money shall soon part ways. So what's my message to you? Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. Learn what you don't know about money, about anything. Because what you don't know is hurting you. Okay, Erica. Well, you know what, Erica, you didn't respond when I asked you. Said, okay, I'll get back to you. I think about it and I'll get back to you. You didn't get back to me. So I figured I don't know what's going on. I'll send that to you, ASAP Rocky. All right, my beautiful people, man. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight on the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Thanks so much for your feedback. Love you how I said extremely beneficial. I received information I can apply to my life today. This is what we do, people. And you have an opportunity to make a decision. Personal development, business development, financial literacy classes teach you about money, give you opportunity to make more money, right? Right? Investment education teach you how to make that money work for you, right? Join an investment club if you want to do that as well, so you can work with a group and you don't have to feel so intimidated about it. You can learn along the way. I sure did it. I sure did misunderstand you, Miss Padmore, because you know you were moving around. I want you to remember this, guys, that it takes a village, and it starts with us. Let's build, people. Let's build these bank accounts. Let's build these businesses. But most importantly, let's build each other. And let's do it together. We all we got. But guess what? That's enough. Man, I pray to God to preserve each and every one of you tonight, that you'll have a wonderful time tonight as you get prepared, wherever you're going to do, but hopefully go to bed soon. And that you will go to bed with the dream and you'll wake up with the goal. And you'll be ready to rock and roll if God gives you another day to make a difference. Until next time, Mr. DJ, hit the music.